Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Tuesday, August 4th, 2020, and we again find ourselves in the final hour of the trading day. The final hour of the trading day, and in particular the last few minutes of the day, are my favorite time to make my buying and selling decisions for my swing trades. And I say this because during the day, the algorithms and the day traders, they are in control of the market. At the end of the day, in the last hour, the large financial institutions start to wake up. They start making their trades. They're dealing with the most money, best technology. They have very smart people, best information, and they start making their decisions at the end of the day. And it takes the price control away from the day traders and the algorithms. So I consider them smart money, and I like to follow them and make my buying and selling decisions based upon what they are doing. So thank you all for coming. I always look forward to seeing everyone. I'm very appreciative that we have this group, and it's a great group, and I consider you all friends, so it's nice to hang out with my friends here during the last hour of the trading day. So Quad is here. Hey bud, good to see you. Good afternoon, Greg and group. Good afternoon to you, Quad. Peace sign right back at you, Dan. Nice seeing you here today, Dan. Hope you're having a good day. And Bob is here. Hi everyone. Hello Bob. Good to see you. So well, it's been kind of a choppy day today. The Dow Jones is up 91 points, up 0.34%, was up higher. The NASDAQ is now down 11.83 points. It's down 0.11%. That was much higher earlier. And the S&P is up 2 points, 0.06%. So in the last hour, we've had a bit of a sell-off here, so it'll be interesting to see how the market closes. So here's the plan for today. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. We're going to get that out of the way. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, and more importantly, how I'm going to manage them moving forward. I've had a bunch of day trades today that I will be sharing with you as well. You know, the same setups that I use for my daily trades, I use for my intraday trades. It's just I use different time frames. So the trade is able to play itself out fairly quickly because I generally trade on the 5-minute chart. After that, some of you have been kind enough to share your trades with me. They're up on the board. We're going to go through those, take a look, and see how those are doing. After that, we're going to spend a few minutes on trader psychology, get away from technicals, entries, exits, and talk about what, in my opinion, is the most important skill that you could possibly develop, and that is the mental skill of discipline to follow your plan. So I like to touch on that every day. After that, I've gone through my watch list, and I've also gone through the results of Kamal's scanner. So we are going to go through each one of those. I do have 3 requirements whenever I look to enter a trade. First requirement, confluence combination of signals lining up, indicators lining up. I consider each indicator a group of buyers, and you'll put yourself in the position to have a much better chance to have a profitable trade. You'll improve your chances dramatically if you are in the company with as many other buyers as possible. And the way that I try to accomplish that is looking for a confluence or combination of indicators lining up, or another way to say it, a confluence or combination of different groups of buyers lining up. Then, if you have a confluence and combination of indicators, you have to make sure that you have a good risk to reward ratio, at least 2 to 1. If I'm going to risk $100 to the downside, I want to be able to make 200 or more to the upside. You can have a really good confluence of signals, but depending on your filters, overbought, oversold levels, resistance above you, you may not have a good risk to reward ratio to make it valid to take that trade. And then number 3, I think it's important right now because there are a lot of positions. Please always, before you enter a new position, please consider how many existing positions you have, how correlated they are. Are you adding on just another correlated position? I mean, are you adding on another tech stock when you already have 3 or 4 tech stocks, right? The more you do that, the more dangerous it gets. In my opinion, the best way is to have the positions that you have, but have them as uncorrelated as possible. In the equity world, not having 4 or 5 tech stocks, but maybe having some tech stocks, maybe having some healthcare stocks or some auto stocks, diversify and even go outside of equities like gold, bonds, silver, oil. to get even more diversified. So I'm going to go down through the watch list. Upon first glance, if something looks good, I'll put it over in the final candidate category, and then at the end of the day I'll go through the final candidates one by one and with a fine-tooth comb try to narrow it down to the very, very best trade, taking into consideration confluence of indicators, risk to reward, and keeping in mind how correlated that new position would be to what I already have. All right, and if something looks good at the end of the day, I'll go ahead and make the entry. And then after the market closes, if anybody has any questions for me, please let me know. If you'd like me to take a look at any stock symbols, happy to do that. Just type them in the chat. If there are any positions that you would like me to take a look at before the market closes and it would be helpful for you to get my opinion, just put them in the chat. Please put an asterisk or an emoji by them so I know it's time sensitive, and I'll do my very best to get to it. And then finally, after the market closes, if you could be so kind, if you have any new additions or subtractions, if you have any new entries or exits for me to update on the board, please wait till the end of the day so that the market's closed, the pressure's off, and I can concentrate and do it correctly. Okay, so that's the plan for today. So I'm going to run that US legal disclaimer, and I will be back in about 40 seconds. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. Okay, hey Kamal, good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for sending me the scanning results today. I really appreciate that, and I'm sure the group does as well. Hey Miko 25, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. We should catch up. It's been a while. I'd like to know how you're doing. David is here. Hey, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well with the shoulder. Hope you're having a good day. And Roy B is here. Hi all. Hey Roy B, good to see you. Appreciate you coming. So all right, well, let's get started. Adobe, let's see, David and Kamal and I bought Adobe back here on the 30th of July. We had a 520 crossover. We also had a higher low V1 with the rejection of the -1 ATR channel. Bought it here at 438.89. It has moved up nicely since then. Orange line up here is when it's moved more than 1 ATR for my entry. Once it does that, I start trailing it with the close below the previous day's low, but has not quite gotten there. It has to get a certain amount of distance away from my entry before it's worth trailing the stop. So anyway, bought at 438.89. It's at 443.94, up nicely, but down today. Okay. So Steve, Frank, Miko, and Kamal, and myself, we did buy FAS, which is the 3 times leveraged financials. Kamal bought it down here at a better price with a higher low V1. He bought it here at, I think, 31.65. The rest of us bought it here with the 520 crossover at 33.99. It has kind of moved sideways, up and down. On every move up, I do take profits and phase out. I think I hit 2 profit targets on this day here. I like to phase out, not the whole position, but partial positions whenever we have a certain amount of up move. It is down 22 cents today. Has not closed below the previous day's low. This may be possible today. I don't know. But so far it is not, and so far it's a hold. But so far, good trade. JCOM, Kamal and I bought JCOM. I really like this setup when we had it here. We had a under 30, over 30. We had a bullish engulfing bar. We had a V1. We have a double bottom with the bullish divergence. We have the bottom here, Deep MACD bar showing strong momentum to the downside. We did rally. We painted some upward momentum green bars. We came back down, and even though we were down further than here, there were no green bars. This is called a double bottom with the bullish divergence. More specifically, Dr. Elder would call this a double bottom with a missing right shoulder, which is even a stronger signal. Kamal and I bought here 55.40, and it has just gone straight on up. The blue line up here is the 50 RSI. If it did reject the 50 RSI, I would go ahead and just get out of half of it, and then if it closed below the previous on that particular bar, I would sell half. If it closed below any previous bars subsequent to that, I would sell the rest of the position. But this has been a really, really good trade. This has been a 6.35% trade if you just buy and held. Of course, I scale out as it goes. Almost got the, so I didn't get quite that much. Almost got the first profit target today, but it sold off. Now, if this were to close for some reason, if this were to close under the 1 ATR channel, I would consider taking it off, or if it formed a V1. But so far as it is, so good. So far, so good. Johnson & Johnson. Okay, Frank, Gary, David, Bob, and myself did buy J&J. This is a nice setup. It's a return to value V2. Here's the price above the value zone, into the value zone, sideways motion, false breakout to the downside over here, and a V2. Just really great setup. I bought it here yesterday at 147.39. My stop was a halfway of this washout bar. Look at this. Today, literally got right there, touched it, and bounced back up, which I'm glad, of course. So am down on the trade, 147.39. It's at 146.72, but well off its low. So that's a good thing. But if it did close below halfway the washout bar, I would get out. Stitch Fix. Gary, Kamal, and I bought this yesterday. I did like this setup. Rejection of the 250-day moving average, rejection of the negative third ATR channel, a V1 from the prior day, a close back above the 200-day. Bought it here at 22.56. Went up nicely. I did hit one profit target today at 23.16, but it has come back off of that. It has not moved more than 1 ATR for my entry. So anyway, so far so good, profitable. I will take it. SPY. Okay, here's the SPY. I do buy SPY every day at the close. I hold it overnight, I take the overnight risk, and I sell it first thing the next morning. I do this based upon the results of a back-tested study, long-term back-tested study from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest. Since 1993, they tested two approaches. First approach, buy SPY at the open, hold it through the day, sell it at the close. If you use this approach every day since 1993, you'd have actually had a negative return of 13.9% return. If you did the opposite, which was what I do, buy the SPY at the close, hold it overnight, take the overnight risk, that's where I feel like the edge is, sell first thing the next morning, you would have gained 634.2% return. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. That's true with any trading approach or any investing method. However, if I'm going to allocate money towards something, it's going to be towards something that has good back-tested results. Blue line, buy in the morning. I'm sorry, buy in the afternoon, sell the next morning. All it's done over time has gone up. Orange line, buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon. All it's done is basically negative. So that's why I choose the blue line approach, which is the buy at the close, sell first thing the next morning. There are drawdowns in this approach. So if you decide to, you're going to attempt this, keep in mind, you can go through some significant drawdowns, maybe even years, right? But then there's some really nice up years. So, if you're thinking about using this approach, I would consider using a very small position size, maybe 5 or 10% of your position, based upon your risk parameters and your financial situation. Okay, that being said, this was a losing trade. I did buy it yesterday at 328.79, sold it right at the low at 327.90, but that's how it goes. Prior day had a nice buy at the close, gap up. Prior day before, nice buy at the close, gap up, but day before, bought at the close, got hammered on this one. So that's how it works. But you know, over time it has done well, and I've been using this for, man, kind of lost track of time, but getting close to 2 years, and I am definitely net positive on it. Apple. All right, day trades. Here we go. I had some really good ones, had some not so good ones, but let's take a look. Where is my entry? Okay, first entry. Short position on Apple on the 5-minute. Prior bar, we went up above 70, below 70. I was considering shorting here, but I did not. I waited one more bar. It went up, tested that 70 again, closed back lower than that, closed there. So, you know, it came down, it went above the third, down, then up, tested that third, didn't like it, came down. I shorted it here at 441.29, and it moved down, 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 down. I almost considered covering it here when we bounced off the 50, but I waited for the close above the previous day's high. I covered here at 439.69. So I got in at 441.29 and I covered at 439.69. So pretty good short for about a half hour or so. Okay, what was the next trade? Next trade was here, 520 crossover. I usually use this on the daily. I almost got in here with this V2, but it didn't quite wash out enough. So then it went up, came back down, right about the same price I'd have got it. So I got it here when we had the 520 crossover, moved up, had a scary bar down here, then a huge bar up there. I was glad for that. And then, you know, whenever I'm in a day trade and I get a big up bar, I tend to just get out if it stops going up or rejects something. And this next bar rejected the third ATR channel and formed a V1. So I decided to get out there. So I got in at 439.43 and I got out at 440.33. Is that right? 34. 439.34. And I got out at 440.43. So I made 99 cents on the trade. So that was good. All right, they're not all winners. Then we had that big sell-off on the 5-minute bar. Came down, went under 30, over 30, went under the negative third channel, over the negative third channel. I did buy it here at 437.03. My stop was a close back below the 30, and that's exactly what happened the next bar. So I got it. I went long at 437.03, and I got out at 436.13. So that was a losing trade, but I did like the under 30, over 30, rejection of the negative third ATR channel. And okay, that's Apple. Qs. My first trade on Qs was a return to value. We were above the 1 ATR channel. We came into the value zone. We had some nice sideways motion. We had a nice V1 rejection of the 50. Got in at 269.82. Went sideways. Did go up nicely for me initially, and then boom. So this was a losing trade. I got in at 269.82, and I got out at 269.58. Then I took another trade on the Qs. This is a short position. What caught my eye on this trade was this big down bar. Now, my students know that big down bars, whenever we get into if we rally back to halfway of the big down bar, I'm looking for a short. This is the short I took, V1 to the downside. It lost, it was a V1 to the downside. It rejected the 10. It lost the 50 RSI. I shorted it here at 269.28, and I got out the very next bar at 268.80. $1.80. It was just a 5-minute trade. It was a big down bar. Reason I got out is it rejected the second ATR channel, and it had a false breakout to the downside. It went below this range and then closed above, so that was a good one. Okay. And then lastly, VIX. I did have a nice trade on VIX here. This is a false breakout to the downside from this low plus a V2, closed back up in the value zone. So here's the V2, bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 2 washes out bar 1, bar 3 closes a bar above bar 1, so that's nice V2, closed in the value zone. I like that, but it also washed out this previous low over here. I bought it here at 27.71, and it just took off, boom, boom. I got out here when it rejected that third ATR channel. So got in at 27.71 and got out at 27.99, which is a pretty good trade on the VIX in 10 minutes. Okay, so that is that. Now let me take a look at the board after this. Let me take a look at the chat. After this, we're going to take a look at your current positions. Frank says, hey, Greg and group, in the middle of a hurricane and about to lose power. Oh no, Frank. Sorry to hear that. Dan says, Frank, hope you stay safe. If you don't have a generator, charge anything chargeable. Fill water containers for extra water. Good idea, Dan. Frank, I'm sorry to hear that. Steve says, I hope you weather the storm, Frank. I do too. Steve says, congrats, Greg and Kamal, on your JCOM trade. Yeah, that was a good trade, huh? Had a lot of signals. Frank says, thanks, guys. Doing what I can. This is a doozy. Oh, man. Wish I could help with something. Ugh. Kamal says, thanks, Steve Burns. Frank says, hurricane trading poem then tomorrow then. Stay safe. Okay. Sounds good. Kamal, Greg, I sent my JCOM target at 3 ATRs, earnings coming up. Oh, at the third ATR channel. Okay, sounds good. Glenn says, hi, Greg, thoughts on KMB, EA? Okay, those are a bunch, so give me a second. Let me go through current positions and we'll take a look, okay? Okay, Karen and Quad did buy Walgreens. I bought Walgreens here as well. False breakout to the downside, V2 4069. Is slightly down today, 25 cents. I got out yesterday just because it had not been doing anything. It was just a time stop, but anyway, slightly still in the money for Karen and Quad. My stop would be a close below halfway the washout bar, and you can see it tested it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, didn't want to go below that, so that is a good sign if you're still long. JWN, Bob. All right, Bob. Bob bought Nordstrom. I remember taking a look at this yesterday. We had a false breakout to the downside, a little bit of a V2. I didn't take this because it wasn't enough of a washout bar, but it doesn't matter. Bob bought it at 14.21. It's at 14.53, up 2.4%. Very nice. Cisco. Evan bought Cisco with this false breakout to the downside. V2 bought it at 46.97, and it is at 47.43. So nice, Evan. KMX. Okay, so we have Bob and Steve. Bob and Steve are having a great trade here on KMX. They bought KMX with the 520 crossover. They bought it here at 94.90. This is a crossover trend, a bit of a trend trade, and it has gone up beautifully, up 2.26% today, up about 4.93%. So right back at you, Steve. Beautiful trade there. PayPal. Bob and Brian M did buy PayPal back here. I have it here at 174.01, higher low V1. And this thing has just motored. Bought it at 174.01. It's at 196.46. Wow, that is fantastic. IWM. Steve bought IWM at, with the 1030 crossover, another crossover approach, 146.16, and it is now 150.85. So beautiful trade. This does back test well. We're at a 61.28 RSI. So nice trading there, Steve. Work. Kamal bought work back on the 31st, 29.45. It is currently 30.44. Slightly down today, but still profitable. Gold. This is unbelievable, everybody. Gary M., one of my recent students, bought this gold with the 520 crossover. This is a good back-tested approach. Bought it here at 162.80, and look at this thing go. This is the power of a crossover approach. Doesn't always work like this, but it gives you the opportunity to have a small loss if you're wrong, and sometimes a monster gain like this, up 13.66% for Gary. So very nice, Gary. FEYE. Brian bought FireEye here at 15.83. Currently it's down a little bit at bought it at 15.83, and currently it's down, it's at 15.33, so down 50 cents. Procter & Gamble, Brian bought Procter & Gamble at 128.30. It's at 133.83. Very nice trade. AMD, Brian bought AMD at $60 even. Look at it up today, 9.37%. Fantastic. NOW, Frank, hope you're hanging in there, my friend. Frank bought now at 426.32. It's at 435. Nicely in the money there. XPO, Brian did buy XPO here at 86.34, and it cracked down the previous day. Is up today 2% though, so that's at least good. Facebook, Brian bought Facebook here at, I think, 235 and 242.98, and it's at 248.98. Amazon, GM bought those Amazon calls expiring August 21st. Brian also bought it at 357. Those calls are 3,400, so it would have to go to 3,400 before August 21st in order to have intrinsic value. LCII, Glenn bought LCII at 127.04, and it's 127.66, down 3% today. Cent, Glenn bought Cent at 39.02. It is now 40.05, so fantastic. TTD, Brian bought TTD at 456 even. It's at 479.58, so really nice trading there. SHW, Brian bought at 648.69. It's at 652.85. Nice there. Len, Brian bought at 72.86. At 72.75, so slightly down. Microsoft, Brian also bought Microsoft at 214.84. It is now 211.61, down 2.28% today. RBA, Glenn bought 44.60, and it is beautiful trade. This Ritchie Brothers up 1.24% today. Oh, I already did Microsoft. Okay. Berkshire Hathaway, Brian bought Berkshire Hathaway at 190.49. It is now 199.91. Beautiful. And then Billy, Quad Racer, and Kamal and myself did buy Billy a couple days ago here at 43.51. I got out yesterday. I didn't like the rejection of this one ATR channel, and I had hit some profit targets, so I decided just to get out, but mainly to make room for some other positions. But Quad and Kamal are still in. It is down 2.26% today. Okay. Real quick before I get to the rest of the chat. So this is the time of the day that I do like to switch gears, talk about trader psychology, discipline, following your plan, and there's some really good Facebook channels and Twitter channels out there that do a great job of posting good trading words of wisdom, if you will, and good advice when it comes to psychology. Here's Thomas Payne at Trader T Payne. Great channel on Twitter. You should follow him. He's really great. He was a scientist, changed careers, became a trader, and really gets deep into the area of psychology and trading. The stock market is the largest wealth machine on earth and can be accessed from home. Yet few are willing to put in the time and effort to capitalize on this opportunity of a lifetime. Humans used to risk their lives hunting food, but now can't put in the effort to learn this. So, listen, like he says, it's the largest wealth machine on earth, wealth creation machine on earth. There's a lot of money out there available for you in the market, but you have to come up with a plan. And, here Thomas says, humans used to risk their lives for hunting food, but now can't put in effort to learn this. I have found that people will put in the effort to learn it, but they're not putting in the effort to follow what they've learned. That's what I've really discovered with working with students over the years and knowing a lot of traders. It's not that they don't know what they're doing. It's they're not following what they know they're supposed to do. So I would put a little asterisk here and say, put in the effort to learn it and then put in the effort to follow it. So there's a huge opportunity here for you. You don't have to have complicated trading systems. You can keep it very simple. But the main thing, identify support, get out quickly if you're wrong, take a small loss. If you're right, have the courage to stick with it and let that winner grow up to certain levels, whatever your filters are. So Trader T Payne over on Twitter, Thomas Payne, he's a great guy. I really appreciate him posting these good words of wisdom for us every day. Okay, Glenn says, hi Greg, thoughts on KBM? KBM. That's KBR. KMB. All right. KMB. Wow, really strong. Kimberly Clark's a few miles away from my house. For a trend trade, long term, this does look very bullish. But for me, the way I trade doesn't mean that you can't buy it here. But the way I trade, 77.84 and above the third ATR channel, most likely will continue to go up. But for me, it doesn't give a good risk to reward ratio. EA Electronic Arts, strong day today. But again, for me, too high, that 70 RSI. If I was in this is where I would be looking to sell it. And I'm kind of having problems with this chart today. MED, again, too high for me. It's just too high of a level, 65 RSI up near that third ATR channel. GIS, very strong. Like you said, though, all making new highs today. So that's just not my type of trading. Doesn't mean that people don't trade that way and are not successful. But as far as the way I trade, those are just a little bit too high for me. Oh, that's the monthly. My gosh, Greg. Yeah, same with that. EPS growing past 5 years, growing future years. Yeah, that's why they're up there, right? Brian says, hello, everyone. Just checking to see if you have me down for buying JCOM as well. I do. I have Kamal, Karen, Gary M, David, and Brian M. Quad says, I'm currently in cash, Greg. Probably not a bad place to be, Quad, for sure. I made a little profit on WBA, so happy about that. Very good. Brian, correction, bought FEYE. All right, listen, if you have updates, please wait till the end of the day, okay? And I'll do them at the end of the day, so please remind me at the end of the day. And same for Glenn, added cost on breakout. Please wait till the end of the day, okay? Kodak has been one of the craziest charts I've ever seen. KODK. Oh my. Whoa. Look at that, everybody. Unbelievable. Can you imagine if you bought at the top up there? Unreal. Unreal. Brian M says, run? Is that a symbol? Oh, that's nice. It's nice, but again, too high for me up here near this third ATR channel. And what you're going to have is you're going to have a double top with a bearish divergence. You're going to have this high up here with high MACD bars. You have a pullback to red. Now we're getting very close to testing that high again with no green bars. So that, along with being at the 70 RSI and at that third ATR channel, I mean, it looks really good, but you know, for the way that I trade, I want to buy down in here and sell up here, not buy up here on the momentum. And they have earnings coming up. Marcus Glass, hey buddy, what's going on? Marcus is a current student of mine. I think we had a good lesson last night. I think you did really great, Marcus. I really do. I really feel like you're kind of starting to put everything together, you know, teach this and teach that and teach that, and then we go through and then start putting it together. So I think you did great, Marcus, and I'm looking forward to our next lesson. Marcus Glass says, just what we talked about yesterday. Yes, that's correct. That's absolutely correct. Are you talking about the double tops with the bearish divergences? I think you are. Okie doke. So let's do this. Let's go down through the watch list, take a look for the new ones, and then like I said, anyone who has any additions, please wait till the end just so the market's over and done with and we get through everything, and then I can concentrate on that, okay? Oh boy. This is a tough one for me. Beyond Meat here does have a 520 crossover after earnings. MACD just went positive. We're over the 50 RSI. And Marcus, if you're listening, 520 crossover, right? Remember my filter. If it closes above the second ATR channel, that is too high for me to take this. As it is right now, I will take it, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Because it is so extended, I am going to buy a half position because it's so high up here. If it keeps going up, great. I'm glad I have half the position. If it comes back down, has a little bit of a pullback, then I can add my second half of my position if the 520 still has a crossover. I hope that makes sense, but it does. Beyond Meat does backtest well with the 520 crossover, but because it's so far extended up here near that second ATR channel, I'm gonna just feel a little more comfortable buying a half of a position. So let's look over on the weekly. Has a lot of room to the run to the upside, but again, I'm going to take half a position because the 520 crossover, I like that MACD's positive, but if it does come back maybe down into this range, somewhere in here, then I will add the second position and average in a little bit lower. You know, you shouldn't average in on your losers. You really shouldn't, but this is my plan, right? I'm not doing it because I'm down. This is my plan before the trade starts. Add half here. If it goes up, great, I have half. If it pulls back a little bit but doesn't hurt the integrity of the chart, I'll add the second half, okay? Gary M is here. The Gold King. The King of Gold is Gary M. Let's see, what's that up? Is it up another dollar? Up 3.48. I'm just, look at this trade for Gary. So happy for you, buddy. I hope you're still in it. I hope you're still in. Bob says Kodak dump earlier today after Elizabeth Warren called for an insider trading probe. Oh yeah, that's never good. Gary says, Frank, crazy storm, lost my internet connection, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, so Gary and Frank both live on the East Coast. Boy, I hope you two are okay. Stay safe. Hope you have water, all that kind of stuff. Okay, next, BMY. Bristol Myers Squibb does have a higher low V1, Marcus, if you're listening. Here is, see how this V1 is higher than this over here. So it is a higher low V1. Earnings are in 2 days. Let's look at the week. Weekly is right, you know, it's okay. So that's, I'll consider that one. Cody, we have a V2. We rejected the negative 1 ATR. That's really, and we have a bounce off the negative 3rd ATR channel, which is good, but it's a 41 RSI. We did reject the 1 ATR channel, so that I don't like so much. Play. False breakout to the downside. See, Marcus, we have a V2. Here's the V2, and we washed out this low. That's a false breakout to the downside with the V2, rejection of the negative 1 ATR channel. But we're at 48.47. We already rejected the 50 RSI, so I'm going to have to pass on that one. ULTA, false breakout to the downside from here plus a V1. It's at a 46.20 RSI. I just don't think the risk to reward makes sense on this one. Align. It's a return to value. We had 1, 2, not really quite 2 days of sideways motion, really just one here. And then this one went lower. It is a nice V1. It is a nice rejection of the negative 1 ATR channel, but it's at a 49.43. I might consider this if it closes over 50, but only then. Okay, Ultra we already talked about. AT&T, strong move up, but it rejected the 50-day moving average, so I'm going to pass on that one. I'll tell you what, I do kind of like Domino's Pizza, and I'll tell you why. Here we have a higher low V1, rejection of the 50. Yesterday we went up, came back down, held halfway of the washout bar, right where I would have been my stop, and then today up strong again. Looks like we have the crossover. We have a 520 crossover, which I don't know if that back tests well, but I do like that we're back up above all the moving average and we're back over 50. I kind of do like this, I gotta say. SSRM, strong day today, but just too high. It's above the 1 ATR channel, just too high for me to buy up here. BTI, under 30, over 30, but I don't like this big old bar here. I don't like we have that negative 3rd right above us. So I'm going to pass on BTI. FE. I don't really see any. I mean, yes, we are above the one of the negative 3rd ATR channel. Looks like we did go under 30, over 30. I don't know. That one just doesn't stick out to me. Coca-Cola, nothing on Coca-Cola here, but Marcus, if you're listening, this is a really good example of a return to value. We're above the value zone. We came into the value zone. We went down. We went down. We've had 1 day of sideways motion. If I can get one more day of sideways motion than a V1 or V2, that's when I'm going to take it. Don't want to buy up here near the 3rd ATR channel. I want to buy in the value zone and try to sell back up there if it goes back up there. So nothing on Coca-Cola today, but in the next day or so, that might be interesting. Pod. Pod's not too bad either with the 520 crossover. I'm sorry, the MACD crossover and a higher low V2. It's only at a 57.92, so that one has some potential. Twitter returned to value, but only 1 day sideways motion, and it hasn't triggered a V2 yet. UAA, too strong of a move down. I just don't want to get involved. There's so much supply that came in here. So many people were selling. You know, the thought of it going back up here with ease is not very realistic. CLX, Clorox, that's one of those making all-time highs. Very strong, but just too high for me up here at a 69.73 RSI. Okay, so that, let me take a quick look at current positions, see what's happening. All right, Adobe is fine. It's profitable, down a little bit today, but fine. FAS under that 520 crossover, but not closing below the previous day's low, so that's fine. JCOM. Oh. Where was the one that I had all those people on? Sorry, dang it. So Brian M. Sorry, that was another stock, Brian. So let me put you down here, okay? That was another one that I thought you were in. I was looking at a different symbol, so my apologies. All right, so Kamal and Brian M and I are in this trade. Okay. J&J is off of its low. Return to value V2 did bounce right where the stop was, so that's good. Yeah, I got you confused, J&J with JCOM. That's what I did. And SPY is positive here, so I'll be buying that at the close. Gary says, still have a small position in gold. Have been slowly phasing out. Okay, very good. Marcus says, need one more day, correct? Yes. Karen, hi Karen, good to see you. All right, let's take a look at RAD for Karen. Looks like we had the V2 yesterday. Let's see, the close here, 1524, the close here, 1526. So yeah, it would have been the signal, I think, would have been yesterday if you would have taken it. How we doing on time? Oh, I only have 10 minutes. All right, sorry. I did go over Cody Kamal, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Bounce off the negative third ATR channel V2. What I don't like about it is that we've rejected that negative 1 ATR channel. And Bob, DRI. Yeah, that's fairly decent. It's a V2 with a false breakout to the downside. Yes, it was a false breakout to the downside. If I were to buy Darden Restaurants, I would make sure that it closed above a 50 RSI before I entered it. It'd be nice if it could close above the 5, 10, 50, and the 20 as well. Then I'd use a close below halfway of the washout bar here, but I would definitely make sure it closed above those moving averages and the 50 RSI. Okay, Beyond Meat. $520 crossover, MACD, fractal over here. On the weekly, it does have room to run. So I will buy a half a position of this unless it closes above the second ATR. And DPZ. I do like DPZ. I got to say, I like it. I like the higher low V1. I like the pullback right to where my stop would have been. And it's one of those ones where we have one, we go up and reverse, and then we're strong enough to go back up, and it's above the 50 RSI. So I'm going to buy a full position in DPZ. I'm going to buy a half a position in Beyond Meat. That's the plan. All right, did everything go back positive? Yeah, Dow Jones up 127, NASDAQ up 11 now, so it did go back up slightly. And the SPX up 6 points. Well, you can see that second bounce off the 30 RSI for Apple, that was the low. I tried here, got stopped out here, didn't get back up in here, but wouldn't have been a huge move anyway from there. Okay. So Beyond Meat, I'm buying a half a position, and Domino's Pizza, I am buying a full position. Pod has earnings coming up, and DPDZ does not. So about 7 minutes to go. I'm going to try to wait till the end to make these. Oh, Steve, thank you. I thought, didn't this happen to you last time with Beyond Meat, or what? It was something else. I thought Beyond Meat. See, Steve, thank you so much. See how my earnings on here showed yesterday, Steve? Man, Steve saved me. Man, I've got to double check. These have been so accurate, but now they're off. Steve, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Many thanks. I never buy through earnings, but I looked at this chart here and it said earnings were yesterday. That's why I was considering. So no, I am absolutely not. Thank you again, Steve. It's not a good idea to hold through earnings. It is if they go up, but unfortunately you just don't know, right? Oh man, thanks to Steve today. So looks like the only thing I will be buying today is Domino's Pizza. All right. What do you have? About 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, is that right? Is that right? Yes, it is. Okay. Steve says, yes, I held something through earnings this year. I was lucky and had happy accident. I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, so thanks for saving me from that. Evan said, Trade Navigator seems to be having an issue accurately showing its earning lately, hasn't it? Yes, it 100% has. It's been one day off. I've talked to them, and they say we just put in what they give us, but sometimes they change. Yep, you're 100% right, Evan. Kamal says, thanks at Steve Burns. I was just on IR for Beyond to look for earnings date. Yeah, thank you, Steve. Okay, so I did buy DPZ, Domino's Pizza. Nice return to value. Nice sideways motion here. Building a little bit of a base. Over 50 RSI on the weekly. I like... we're not over the 1 ATR channel there, so we'll see. We shall see. Ooh, Beyond Meat's cranking into the close, isn't it? All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So again, I did buy Domino's Pizza. That's the only thing I'm buying. Adobe looks fine off of its lows. Fast off of its lows. JCOM's doing very, very well. Johnson & Johnson well off its lows. That's also good. Stitch Fix now green, and then SPY. I will be buying SPY, of course, with the end of day trade. Man, I'm glad Steve saved me from that. I'm glad to see Gary has gold on that 520. Boy, that was a run, Gary. What a run. So it looks like the winner today was IWM as far as percentage-wise goes. Go Johnson & Johnson. Go J&J. Look at this at the end of the day. 5 minute on J&J. Very nice. Very nice. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Wow. Go positive, baby. Do it. Okay, that's the market. So listen, if you have any questions, type them in the chat. If you have any additions, subtractions, whatever they are, put them in the chat, and then I am definitely going to get to them, concentrate on them, and get everything correct, okay? But before I do, just real quick, just want to remind everybody that I do teach private one-on-one lessons. I love to teach. I've had really good success with my clients. I have been trading for 24 years. I've studied with four really great, well-known traders that I've studied one-on-one with, like our friend Stephen Burns, Dr. Alexander Elder, Kerry Lavorne, Larry Williams. The course I teach, I combine everything I've learned from these four gentlemen and my experience of my trading of all these years as well into the course. I have about 5 different type of setups that I use depending what market conditions we use, but it's an intense course. It's 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours, so it's a total of 15 hours. The format is I generally teach the first half of the class. The second half of the class, I basically have you teach it back to me. I ask you a lot of questions. I just want to make sure we do a lot of chart study. What looks better here? Is this a trade here? What kind of trade is it? Where's our entries? Where's our exits? Where's our intermediate end of day stops? Where's our profit targets? We talk about trader psychology, but it's a really good course. And like I said, have had really good success with my clients. So if you've been thinking about it, please reach out to me. You can send me an email. My email's in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter at Gossett Trading on Twitter. But if you do contact me, I'll say, hey, how's it going? Let's set up a Skype call. The Skype call is free. There's no sales pressure, nothing like that. I just want to talk to you, understand your current situation, your trading, what your goals are, what your challenges have been. And then it's a good time for you to ask me any questions you have about the course. I won't ask you if you want to take the course. I'll say it's nice talking to you. Think about it. If you're interested, you can email me back. All right. So if you've been thinking about it, I really think you'll learn a lot from this course. It is $1,000, but I do think it's worth every penny for the attention that you get and the length of the course. And then if you like today's podcast, if you like today's podcast, if you could take a couple seconds, hit the thumbs up button before you get out of here, I would really, really appreciate that. It helps build the channel. There's a lot of people out there that could use help with some trading. And I think if we can get them to this channel or other channels that teach trading, I think, they can learn some good trading principles. So you can help me help them by just hitting the thumbs up button. Okay, let's take a look real quick. Where did I buy all my stuff? All right. SPY at 330.06. And Domino's Pizza, man, I'll tell you what, a pizza sounds really good right now. 391.76. So SPY, boom, boom, 330.06. That's my new entry for the overnight SPY trade. And then DPZ. I bought that today at $391.76. All right, that's my stuff right there. Man, I am just thrilled about Johnson & Johnson. It was underperforming all day long. And look at that last 5-minute bar. Whoa. I will take it. Okay. Gary M. bought DPZ. Gary M. Kamal says, Greg, did you buy DPZ? I did. Brian M. bought DPZ. Okay. We got Gary M. and Brian M. FEYE. You bought at 1544. Okay. Done and done, Brian. Got you there at 1544. Kamal says, I sold some Google put spreads expiring on hold of the 50. Oh, I haven't looked at Google for a bit. So you sold Google put spreads expiring this week on hold of the 50 SMA. All right, so he sold some put spreads. So he sold some puts and he bought some puts underneath it. His stop is going to be if it closes below. All right, well, let's get you on there, Kamal. Kamal, put spreads. Expiring August 7th. Okay. Stop is the 50. Kamal says, oh, Quad Racer says, I'm in Beyond Meat. I missed Steve's warning, but small positions, so we'll see how it goes. Okay. Beyond Meat. Yeah, thanks to Steve. Quad Racer. Hope that goes up for you, bud. Bob says, bought DRI. Okay. DRI, Darden Restaurants, closed above the 50 RSI. Good. Good luck with that, Bob. MACD, slightly bearish, but I mean, it's holding this range up here, and it was a nice move up here, so we'll see. Hopefully that goes up. Okay. Does anybody, when are Beyond Meat's earnings, by the way? And Glenn bought Costco on breakout above 330. Okay, so he bought the breakout. Very nice. So I don't know exactly what price he got. But Glenn, if you're still there, let me know what price you bought Costco at. Brian says Disney's revenue missed. Oh, any moment. Ah, okay. What is Disney doing? Disney's down 2% after hours. And Beyond Meat. So Bob did nice with Nordstrom. Very good. Very good, Bob. Evan did really well with Cisco. Steve did really nice. Who else we have there? We have Steve and Bob. Really nice with CarMax. Bob and Brian M. Nice day on PayPal. Nice day for IWM for Steve. Up a little bit for Kamal on work. Gold's up to another 2%. Wow, for Gary. FEYE, we fixed that. 1544 for Brian. Procter & Gamble, Brian, big day. AMD, huge day for Brian. And I'll tell you what, Brian has some trades, man. I'll tell you what. Now, down a little bit for Frank. Hope Frank's okay. And Gary. XPO back up a little bit. Facebook down a touch today. Amazon up for Brian. LCII. Boy, that was a volatile day, but well off of its lows for sure. Ah, shucks. Beyond Meat's down 5%. Yeah, that's the thing, you know. Sometimes you see these companies with these huge moves after hours, but I just want to kind of warn everybody, it doesn't always happen, and it doesn't happen with every single stock. That's unfortunate for Quad. All right. Well, Disney's off of its lows now after hours. Beyond Meat's off of its lows after hours. Hey, Disney went positive. That's good. All right. Well, interesting day. Interesting day. A few ups, a few downs, some good day trades. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. Like I have any choice, right? All right. Well, if anybody has any questions for me, last call. Otherwise, I'm going to put on my hiking boots. It's a beautiful day here in Utah. Going to get up on the trails. Oh, you know what? I guess I'll show you that tomorrow. Oops. Yeah, I'll show you that tomorrow. So Disney did go positive. Beyond Meat is up. Very nice. So I'm glad for Quad. It's up anyway right now. 35 cents. So good. All right, everybody. Well, listen, have a good rest of your day. Thank you for coming today. Appreciate seeing everyone. Please try to go out and do something nice for somebody today, just to say hello. That's a start. Give a wave, say hi, hold the door open, just be pleasant. If we could have if everyone would do that every day, the world would be a lot better place. And if you could do it for an animal and a human, if If you could do both of those, one nice thing for a human, one nice thing for an animal, that would be even better. All right. So have a good rest of your day. Be good. Be safe. And have a great hike, Dan. Have a great hike, Greg. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. So, all right. Well, tomorrow's Wednesday, so we'll see what Wednesday brings. But thanks again for coming, and we'll talk to y'all soon. All right. Take care now. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity.